Today we're going to answer one of the most frequent questions we get here in our gym from our jiu-jitsu practitioners is when should they do their strength training with their jiu-jitsu? It's safe to say it's a very loaded question, and only through a lot of trial and error you're going to find what works best for you. It's exactly what I've done. I will tell you the worst days I have ever experienced on the mat are days I would do a heavy lifting session, immediately jump over to our mats thinking I'd be okay. I quickly learned I had made a huge mistake. Derived a lot from my training partners, asked me why I was so tired. I just had too much pride to tell them, hey man, I probably shouldn't be out here right now training. My body's taxed. Through that trial and error, not only has a lot of wisdom and experience set in, but it helped me develop a system that worked best for me when doing jiu-jitsu and strength training, as well as I keep that in mind when I'm developing strength training programs and helping jiu-jitsu athletes further their strength training. Now, as most of you guys know, my training priority has never been jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is just something I thoroughly enjoy doing with friends. It's more of a hobby. I don't even have like a deep, devout passion for jiu-jitsu. It's just something I thoroughly enjoy. What I do have a passion for is fitness, making guys stronger, getting guys in better shape, improving longevity. And so with that, I've done a lot of trial and error on myself. When I first started jiu-jitsu, I was a bodybuilder, you know, you get on stage, nice flex, speedos, and oil. I quickly learned bodybuilding training and jiu-jitsu did not mix. Once I decided to quit bodybuilding, I moved into 6 years of competitive CrossFit. That definitely didn't work out well. It was some of the most horrible experiences I've ever experienced on the mat is from doing CrossFit workouts and then jiu-jitsu. So I never recommend CrossFit with jiu-jitsu out of personal experience, not just telling you it doesn't work. And after I decided to no longer do CrossFit, I moved into competitive weightlifting. And we're talking about clean and jerks and snatch, the Olympic lifts. I did develop into a system that would work for me. And through a lot of trial and error, I'm going to share that with you guys. So hopefully give you an idea of how to mix in your training and what's best for you. Now, the first thing I'll tell you is you have to train with your priorities. For me, example, my priority is weightlifting. I will not skip weightlifting days to do jiu-jitsu. If your priority is jiu-jitsu, you should not skip jiu-jitsu to do weightlifting. You have to make a schedule that works for you. So I'm going to break this down into 3 different categories to hopefully simplify how to break down this strength training and jiu-jitsu. So we have intense, moderate, and light. Okay, if I'm doing intense in one, light in the other, or if I'm doing moderate in one, it's moderate in the other. So let's look at strength training. I'll give you an example. If I'm going to do some intense clean and jerks, because those are the most taxing on my body by far, I'm either going to do no jiu-jitsu or just light drilling or light flow rolling. If I'm going to do a moderate day of lifting, let's say I'm only lifting up to 70%, it's not that taxing on me, then I can go over and do some moderate rolls. You know, my heart rate probably stays between 70 to 80% that day, but I'm not going all out on jiu-jitsu. Now, then on light days with strength and conditioning for me, that would consist of accessory work only. I would knock out that accessory work and then I can go over and do some intense jiu-jitsu. So on the flip side, you can do that with jiu-jitsu as well. If I'm going to have a highly intensive jiu-jitsu day, I'm either going to do light accessory or no accessory work. Just like I shared with you guys that the worst days on the mat I've ever had are going from a high intense lifting day to jumping immediately on the mat. The worst lifting days I've ever had are going from a highly intense jiu-jitsu and trying to do my strength training. Your muscles are going to be lengthened out. You're just not going to have the power outputted you already are. You're already shocked your central nervous system and it's not going to be able to move the weight that it normally does. So you have to X that out altogether. Any day that's intense jiu-jitsu, accessory work first or just jiu-jitsu. Any day that's intense weightlifting first. Then either light jiu-jitsu or no jiu-jitsu. Moderate days you can mix and match. And there's gonna be those odd days you just feel like you can go 100% in both. You're probably gonna be wrecked the next day and not get that much out of it. Not only does what I'm telling you work for longevity and training and keeps you training more consistently and more frequently, but it helps develop into a system that works best for you. I've designed a lot of strength training athletes and personal programming and even templates for jiu-jitsu athletes that help develop this guys and help keep them on the mat, keep them strong, keep them healthy. The number one concern of a lot of jiu-jitsu athletes is injury, so they can't be on that mat. The number one precursor to injury prevention is strength training, and I'm just trying to help with that. This is not factual science I'm giving you. This is trial and error, what I found works for me. Not only works for me, but the athletes that I've trained, it found what works for them. And you, again, train with your priorities, stick what's best for you guys. Hopefully you can find what works for you when it comes to strength training and jiu-jitsu, and we'll see you in the gym.